Hello everybody, this is Matt from Megalomobile and welcome to part 5 of this mini-series Let's Make Solitaire in Unity. In part 4 we started to manage card interactivity and implement the rules for stacking cards. If you missed the previous episodes, I recommend checking them out as we will pick up right where we left off. In this video, we will extend card interactivity to get to the point where we can move cards to the foundation, or top row, and technically play a full game of Solitaire. As usual, all the scripts and Unity packages are available in the description and the most recent version can be played in the browser. Let's crack on. I create a new method, void stack, which takes in the selected game objects, which, if stackable is true, will be the object that gets the contents of slot 1 placed on top of it. If on top, cards should be stacked in place. The same for a king on the bottom. Otherwise, the cards should be stacked with a negative Y offset, so they cascade down the screen. Selectable S1 equals slot1.getComponent of type selectable. Selectable S2 equals selected.getComponent of type selectable. Float Y offset equals 0.3 float. If S2.top or S2.top is false and S1.value is equal to 13, Y offset equals 0. Slot1.transform.position equals new vector 3, selected.transform.position.x, selected.transform.position.y minus the Y offset, selected.transform.position.z minus Z offset. I'm going to put this as 0.01 float. Slot1.transform.parent equals selected.transform. This makes the children move with the parents. If S1.inDeckPile, so if the first card is in the top deck, we can remove the cards from the top pile to prevent duplicate cards. Solitaire.tripsOnDisplay.remove slot1.name. Else if S1.top and S2.top and S1.value is equal to 1, we want to allow the movement of cards between the top spots, so we can say solitaire.toppos at location S1.row.getComponent selectable.value is equal to 0, and solitaire.toprow S1.row getComponent selectable.suit is equal to null. That way, if an ace is moved from one space to another space, the space no longer keeps track of the value of the cards in that space. Else if S1.top keep track of the current value of the top decks as a card has been removed. Solitaire.toppos at location S1.row getComponent selectable.value equals S1.value minus 1. Else, we can remove the card string from the appropriate bottom list. Solitaire.bottoms at location S1.row, remove slot1.name. S1.inDeckPile equals false. You cannot add cards to the deck pile where the trips are kept, so this is always fine. S1.row equals S2.row. If S2.top, then we can move the card to the top and assign the top's value and suit. Solitaire.toppos at location S1.row, getComponent selectable.value, and that becomes equal to S1.value. Solitaire.toppos at location S1.row getComponent selectable.suit equals S1.suit, S1.top equals true, else S1.top equals false. After completing the move, we then reselect slot 1 to be essentially null by saying slot 1 equals this .gameObject. Again, calling it null causes some problems. Then, if the cards are stackable, we call the stack method, stack selected. So we give that a test, and it sort of works, but it is a little glitchy. We can stack cards on the top deck, which is not a wanted behavior. Luckily, this is pretty easy to resolve, and we can amend the stackable method to return false if the selected card is in the top deck pile. If S2 in deck pile is false, then do the things, otherwise we're already returning false. So if the card clicked on is face down and it is not blocked, we should be able to flip it over. We already look at whether a card is face up or face down in its attached selectable script. Therefore, if selectable.getComponent selectable.faceup is false, if the card is not blocked, flip it over. Selected.component selectable.faceup equals true, slot 1 equals this .gameObject. To test if a card is blocked or not, my first thought was to use raycasts, but this is really process expensive and unnecessary, as it is easy to just check the lists. To test if an object is blocked, I create a boolean method called blocked that takes in a selected GameObject as an argument. Bool blocked GameObject selected. We need access to its selectable script, so again I will assign the variable name S2. Selectable S2 equals selected.getComponent selectable. If it is in the deck pile, it is only blocked if it is the last trip in the list. If S2.inDeckPile equals true, if S2.name is equal to solitaire.tripsOnDisplay.last. As we're using the last method to check the list, we need to add the library using system.link to this script as well. return false, else return true. I also want to print out to the console the name of the card that is blocking it, so I can make sure that everything is working nicely. Print s2.name plus is blocked by plus solitaire.tripsOnDisplay.last. Else, if it is not in the deck pile, we check the last entry in the row that matches the row of the value of the selected card. If s2.name is equal to solitaire.bottoms at location s2.row.last, check it if it's the bottom card, return false, else return true. We can then add the logic to the card method. If not blocked, selected, then flip it over. Save and test, and we can no longer flip over any face down card as they are blocked. But if we take the 9 of spades and stack it on the 10 of hearts, the final card in the last row is no longer blocked, and clicking it flips over to reveal the king of spades. This is starting to play like a game, although we cannot yet add cards to the top row, and we can still select any card from the top deck trips that have been dealt out onto the playfield. To prevent selecting block cards up top, we can extend the card method to test this too. We've already built the logic to test the top cards within the blocked method, so all we need to do is call it in the appropriate place. Else if selected.getComponent of type selectable.inDeckPile is true. If it is not blocked, select it. Else continue with the logic. Saving and testing shows that we can now only select the last card in the deck pile. Next, we add the ability to move cards to the top 4 positions. We only want cards that are aces to be able to move up to the top at first, so first we check the tag of the item in slot 1 to make sure it is a card. If slot1.compareTag card, if the card is an ace and the empty slot is up top, then we should stack. If slot1.getComponent selectable.value is equal to 1, then it is an ace. Stack selected. The stack method already knows how to stack cards on the top. We just need to call it. However, selected is not currently available, so we need to add it as a GameObject argument to the top method and pass it the hit.collider.GameObject of the Raycast2D. In the editor, we need to update the 4 top rectangles to include selectable scripts and enter their corresponding row values. Ticking the top boolean option, we do the same with the 7 empty spots on the bottom, but leave the top boolean unticked. This allows the stackable method to test the values of these empty spaces, so that the cards may be positioned on top of the empty spaces. Finally, we handle clicking on the empty spaces in the bottom row. Only kings can be moved onto these spaces. Again, we need to pass it the hit.collider.GameObject of the Raycast2D as the argument GameObject selected. If the card is a king and the empty slot is bottom, then stack. If slot1.compareTag card, if slot1.getComponent selectable.value equals 13, stack selected. Saving and playing that, we can see that the ace of hearts and the ace of clubs are able to move up to the top positions, the king of hearts can claim the empty space on the bottom row, and we can flip over the exposed card to reveal the 7 of spades. We can even draw the ace of spades from the deck pile and place it in the top position. However, when we cycle through the deck, notice how that we have accidentally created a duplicate ace of spades. Let's stomp on that bug right now. Whenever we restack the deck, we first need to clear it, because otherwise any cards not in the discard pile, but still in the deck cards, will come back into circulation. Save and play, and if we move the ace of spades to the top position, we can see that we no longer have a duplicate next time we cycle through the deck. In terms of the core functionality of the game, we are pretty much finished. At this point it is possible to play a full game of Solitaire. However, there are a few extras I want to include, like double clicking to automatically send eligible cards to the top position, and the ability to reset the game if you get stuck. That's it for part 5. Next time we will implement double clicks and automatic card stacking. We will also allow players to reset the game and show a congratulatory message if they win. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video then please hit like, please hit subscribe, and feel free to leave a message in the comments. I'll catch you next time.